Jonathan and David are examples of how friendship should be. I was apologizing. I should have sent you the presentation slides to go through, but it's a bit heavy. I prepared it and it was a bit heavy, so I didn't want to take you through the process of downloading a very heavy material. But I'm going to display it on our screen this morning, and then we'll go ahead to answer questions. So first of all, you should remember that, as Dami first said, David was a shepherd. Jonathan was a prince. David was a shepherd and Jonathan...
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to talk, please mute your screen. Let me mute all of you. Okay, now. So David was a shepherd and Jonathan was a prince. Jonathan had his own armor. I'm sure you know what an armor is, yes? What is an armor? Neymar, an armor, I see you shaking your head. An armor, okay, Oreolua, can you tell us what an armor is? I can see your hands up.
An armor is like a clothing to protect someone over attacks.
During a what?
A war.
During a war, thank you, Oreolua. During a war battle, all those attire, Ayomide, I can see you. All those things you put on your body. The shield, the buckler, everything you wear, the helmet, those are part of your armor to protect you from attacks. Okay, Neymar, do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so once you're a prince or once you're in the royal family, you are assigned an armor. An armor is made with your coat of arms. So let's say Jonathan was a prince in Nigeria and he was the son of Buhari. His armor would have the Nigerian coat of arms to show that he's from the ruling party or from the ruling family in Nigeria. Do you understand? So Jonathan automatically had his own armor by virtue of his position as the son of the king. Okay, but we know that David didn't have an armor. What did David have? Can anybody tell me what David had? Ayomide, you know it. What is the answer? Yes, Ademide. Yeah. No, Ayomide wants to speak. Ayomide, you can speak. If you can't, he had a what? Yes, thank you very much, Ayomide. He had a sling and a stone. That was the only thing he had. He didn't have all those fancy armor. He just had a sling and a stone. And he played an instrument. What was the instrument he played? Raise up your hand if you know the answer. Raise up your, I can only see Oreoluwa, Ayomide, and Damife's hands up. Are they the only ones that answer questions in class today? Okay, because I'm really enjoying Ayomide speaking to me this morning. Ayomide, what is the answer?
Harp.
Yes, he had a harp. He played the harp. So David just had a harp and his slingshot. Now, while Jonathan grew up in the palace and was trained in the art of war, all kings in those days, all kings and princes were trained in warfare. So Jonathan was trained in the art of war. Maybe one of my classes will talk, I'll show you videos on how they trained Egyptian kings. You know, we've talked about Egyptian kings during the time of who?
Pharaoh.
Of who, Damife?
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. And we discussed Pharaoh during which class?
Joseph in Egypt.
And also, not only Joseph in Egypt, somebody else. Yes, Tofumi.
The story of Moses.
Moses, thank you, Moses. That was where I started with
Moses. Moses.
So, yeah, thank you, Moses. So, Jonathan, I'll show you a video on how pharaohs were trained in the art of war, how it was then. I should have showed you this video then, but I didn't have it with me. But now that I'm home, I've gotten access to all my files. So I'll be showing you during one of our classes. So Jonathan was trained in the art of war, but David grew up in the little town of Bethlehem. So what I'm trying to tell you is to show you a comparison between David and Jonathan. Now, Jonathan was the oldest son of King Saul, meaning he was in line to inheriting the throne. You know, in those days, it was by succession. A king would rule, and then when he dies, his son will take over and will continue to rule, except he's overthrown by another country, or people from another land come and take over. So Jonathan, being the oldest son of King Saul, made him the heir to the throne. Now, David was the youngest of 8 boys. The youngest of 8 boys. So he's even if he was to inherit anything from his shepherd father, it would be very little, because 7 of his brothers would have to take first before it got to him, to show you how really lowly David was. Now, Jonathan was of the tribe of Alimat. Please mute your background, it's noisy. So Jonathan was of the tribe of Benjamin, and David was of the tribe of Judah. But despite their differences, that's the differences I have mentioned to you, they were arguably the best friends the world has ever known. Okay, and that is why it is being referenced a lot when speaking about Christian friendships. So we have all heard the epic story of young David's victory against Goliath, the Philistine giant. He took him down with only a stone and a sling, like Ayomide pointed out to us. But before this happened, Jonathan and his armor bearer, somewhere in 1 Samuel 14:14, killed 20 Philistines. So you see that Jonathan was not also a weak person. He might have grown up in the palace, but he also was battle ready. He had killed 20 Philistines with his armor bearer. All right. And because of that, Saul and his men were able to defeat them that time anyway. So Jonathan was already a great man of war, and he met David in the palace on one of the many occasions that David was called upon to play the harp for King Saul. King Saul was emotionally tormented. There was a demon of sadness always after Saul. So he needed music. You know, sometimes when we listen to music, it has a way of calming our nerves. I'm not talking of Bolanleo. I'm not talking of all those Naira Marley songs. I'm talking of really sensible songs, you know, jazz, you know, all those calm instrumentals, not rock music too. There are some songs that you just hear and they have a very cooling effect on you. Apologies to the Nigerian music industry. Most of Nigerian songs do not have a cooling effect. They just tend to raise your pressure and give you a headache at some point. So that's not the kind of music that Saul needed at that time. He needed something calm. Yes, Oreoluwa is smiling because he's a fan of the Nigerian music industry. Nice. Okay, so Samuel was emotionally tormented, and David had to constantly play music for him. All right. So the friendship between David and Jonathan grew from there. Jonathan was seeing David in the palace playing for his father, and then Jonathan saw David kill Goliath. So Jonathan's impression of the musician slash giant slayer, who is a warrior by day and songwriter by night, was really immense. Like, he was really impressed with David. You know, he was like, this young boy like this is doing all these things. So and it's not often in life that your hero is younger than you, because from all indications, David was younger than Jonathan. Okay, and here is Jonathan seeing a young boy suiting his father's anger, defeating the enemies, and causing the ladies to smile, because the Bible tells us that women loved David. So to Jonathan, David was like a young mentor. Wow, this is what I want to be like when I grow up, you know, and that was how their friendship started. Now, most men in Jonathan's shoes would have felt jealous and threatened. I mean, you're the next person to be king, and then somebody is coming and taking all the attention from you, who is the prince. At some point, you feel very jealous. But Jonathan saw what God saw in David. Okay, the Bible tells us in 1 Samuel 16 verse 7 that the Lord does not look at the things people look at. That's why you wonder that a very handsome man would marry a woman who you think is not pretty, or a very pretty woman will marry a man who you think is not handsome, or a very, very model looking girl who maybe has won Miss World marries a man who doesn't even look like Mr. World. He's short, he has big tummy, but that's because they have looked beyond the physical appearance. We have heard of really handsome men who don't have sense, who beat up their wives. We have heard of pretty women who don't have values, don't have respect for self, don't have respect for others. That's why the Bible tells us he does not look at what human beings look at. A man will go to the will go out and he will see a very pretty lady and decide to go for the pretty lady, but the pretty lady is empty. Meanwhile, the ordinary looking girl with no makeup on, no wig, no nails fixed, looking simple in her jeans and shirt, has more stuff, has more brains, has more character than the pretty one. Okay, so people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And that was what Jonathan also did. He didn't look at David and say, oh, this boy is so poor, we are not on the same level, blah, 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 blah. No, he looked at him and he saw character traits worthy of emulation. Okay, so it's worthy to note that Jonathan had depth of spiritual insight and discernment. So you should also try and look beyond the physical. Okay, even when choosing your
I want to
friend.
ask a question.
Who is the person? Yes, Jubril.
Ma,
Yes.
was Jonathan born before David killed Goliath?
Yes, Jonathan was born before David killed Goliath. Jonathan was already in the army before David killed Goliath.
Ma,
Yes.
so after Jonathan ruled, was it David that ruled next?
Jonathan never ruled. Jonathan died in battle.
Okay.
Yes. So let me continue. So David and Jonathan became fast friends, and they sealed their friendships with, and they sealed their friendship with an oath. The Bible tells us in 1 Samuel 18, verse 1-4, that Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Your friends should love you as they love themselves. Okay? So your friend should treat you the same way your friend will treat herself or himself. If Oreoluwa will not put his hand inside fire, he should not encourage his friend to put his hand inside fire. Okay? If Ademide knows that smoking is bad for his health and he will not smoke, he should now not encourage Olushola to start smoking. If Neima knows that cheating in an exam is bad, she should also not allow her friend to cheat in an exam because she knows her friend may be caught and expelled from school. So Jonathan loved David like he loved himself, okay? And it also goes to the things they did for each other. If Neima likes this dress and she knows her friend would like it, she can buy the dress for her friend and not buy something inferior because it is her friend's own. Or, some people will decide, no, I cannot buy this fine dress for my friend so that she will look finer than me. It doesn't make sense. If you're looking cute and you want to buy something cute for your friend, then buy something cute. Don't, because you don't want your friend to seemingly outshine you, you now do something less for her. Now, Jonathan also said in 1 Samuel 20:42, go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord. Okay, so Jonathan swore to be David's friend for life. And it's very rare before you see friendships that translate from primary school to secondary school to university. Very rare. But you see those people that become friends from primary school and can maintain it till their adulthood, man, those are the lucky ones. So if I encourage you, whoever is your friend now in class, maintain, if you know the person is a good person, try and maintain that friendship, because really good friends are hard to find. Okay, good friends, friends that would love you for you, are really hard to find. So if you can find one, then try and maintain it till after school, till university, though sometimes distance can be a barrier. For instance, if Alimat and Ayomide are best friends now, and Ayomide has to go to Canada, Alimat has to go to Malaysia for their studies, it might not be easy to keep in touch because of the distance and the difference in time zone. When Ayomide is waking up, that's probably when Alimat is going to bed. When Ayomide is on holiday in Nigeria, that's when Alimat is starting her new session in the university. So all those things can interfere, but if you're intentional, if you're deliberate about it, oh, I haven't sent Ayomide a message today, you send her a message. Oh, today's Alimat's birthday, you send Alimat a message. So that intentionality can help to sustain your friendship, okay? David was chosen by God and appointed to replace Saul as king of Israel instead of Jonathan, and Jonathan still loved him. It's just like most presidents don't like themselves because they're always afraid of their successors. Good Luck, for instance, is not friends with Buhari. Should I say not friends? They might not be so close because one is succeeding the other. So if, for instance, I have a child who is supposed to be king after me, and there's another person who God has said, no, maybe it's not your child that will be king, it's this other person's child. My child can start feeling very, very angry or remorseful towards the other person because that person is coming to take her position. But Jonathan didn't feel that way. He didn't see it that way. He still loved David, irrespective of the fact that David was going to be the one to take his place as king. Jonathan knew he was next in line to the throne. Jonathan knew he was the next person to be king in Israel. But Jonathan also knew that Prophet Samuel had said David would be the next king of Israel. So in a normal setting, Jonathan should have been supporting his dad, that's King Saul, to kill David. But instead, the Bible tells us of how Jonathan protected David. He protected David's life. He loved and admired David so much that he refused to cause harm to it. And you can see that if you keep on reading the Bible to 2 Samuel 9 verses 11, the Bible tells us that after Jonathan died in battle, David brought in his son. Jonathan had a son. The name of the son was Mephibosheth. I'm going to ask you in my test. Mephibosheth. That was the name of Jonathan's son. But he was born lame. The boy was lame. I'm coming to you, Neymar. The boy was lame. He couldn't walk. He was paralyzed. Okay? So after Jonathan died, David brought Mephibosheth. M-E-P-H-I. I'm spelling it now. M-E-P-H-I-B-O-S-H-E-T-H. Let me write it out let me write it out on the chat box for you. Mephibosheth. Yeah, I've sent it. So that's the name of David's, Jonathan's son. He was lame, he was paralyzed. And so after Jonathan died, David brought him into the palace and cared for him until he died. So that's another beautiful thing about friendship. It doesn't have to die with the person, okay? Imagine if Jonathan and David weren't close. Jonathan's son would just be there, no help coming from anywhere. And most times when a king is slain in battle, all members of his family are also killed so that there's no revolt. All right, but David took care of Mephibosheth after the death of Jonathan. So 4 things to learn from the friendship between David and Jonathan. Number 1, friendship is a gift from God. So always appreciate your friends. Always appreciate your friends. Always appreciate. If you have a good friend, you have been blessed by God. Take it or leave it. And the best friend known to man right now is Jesus. Number 2, a true friend is true. A true friend stays true. Meaning that when you have a true friend, you don't have stress. No, you don't have all those stress that come with bad friendship. You enjoy peace. You enjoy companionship. Okay. Then a true friend, number 3, a true friend loves you as he loves himself. I have told you, I've explained that to you. Even the Bible tells us, love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? And Jesus quite literally loved us in this way when he gave up his life to save us. All right? So David and Jonathan's friendship was inspiring, but Jesus is an even greater friend. So a true friend loves you more than he loves himself. Then number 4, a true friend helps you find strength in God. Look for that quality in friends. Choose to be friends with people who will draw you nearer to God, not take you far from God. Okay? Love pushes you to be a better person. Having good friends will make you a better person, not make you a bad person. So when I talk about pushing you to God, I mean the person is helping you to be a better person. If you become friends with someone and from the beginning of that friendship, you start seeing that you're beginning to tell lies, you're beginning to cheat, that person is taking you far from God. But if you become friends with someone and you can see that your character is changing, you're learning good traits, you're becoming responsible, you're becoming faithful, you're becoming loyal, you're becoming trustworthy, you're becoming dependable, you're becoming everything a good child should be, then please keep that friendship. So I'm going to run through the slides I prepared for your class. Just to give you an idea of how David and Jonathan's friendship was. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It's all about David and Jonathan.
Yes, ma'am.
All about David and Jonathan. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is that person? Dan Fair, please read for us. Damife, can you hear me? Okay. Ademide, read for us.
All about David and Jonathan.
I'm on the next slide.
My can't see it. Second slide.
You can't see the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No more.
Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay, so Ademide, read for
Yes,
us.
ma'am.
Long ago, there was a young
My
man
share.
called David. He was a shepherd who played beautiful music on his harp. King Saul heard David's music and would ask him to play for him. Saul could have very dark moods, and often David's music was the only thing that would lift his spirits. After David killed Goliath, people hailed him as a hero. He became a great warrior, winning every battle. David said that because of his love for the Lord, he was protected.
Thank you. Olushola Folabi, can you read the next slide?
Yes, ma'am. King Saul had a son called Jonathan. David and Jonathan became firm friends. In fact, Jonathan gave David his robe, belt, sword, and bow as a sign of their great friendship.
Please take note of robe, belt, sword, and bow. I'm going to ask you, what did Jonathan give to David as a symbol of their friendship?
Please wait.
I'm going to ask you, what did Jonathan give to David as a sign or symbol of their great friendship? Remember, it's a robe, a belt, a sword, and a bow. Thank you very much. Damife, read. Where is Damife? I can't hear Damife. Anika, read for us.
David's bravery was well known and his reputation spread
Reputation.
wide. His reputation spread far and wide. King Saul had also been a great warrior, but instead of feeling proud of David and the battles
Anika, I
he
can't
won
hear
for him,
you.
Keep quiet, you will hear
David's
Jubril.
bravery was well known
I
as
cannot
his
see anything.
reputation. David's bravery was well known and his reputation spread far and wide. King Saul had also been a great warrior, but instead of feeling proud of David and the battles he won for him, Saul became jealous. David rose to a high rank in the army. The officers and people were delighted. Saul was not. Saul was not. People began to compare David and Saul's success. Saul felt he was being made a fool of by this young man. He became so angry that twice he threw his spear at David, but unfortunately the spear did not reach him.
Thank you. Jubril, can you read the next slide? Jubril, can you read the next slide?
A plot to kill. Saul began to think that the Lord had deserted him, but was protecting David. So he sent David away to command 1,000 men in battle. David was victorious again, which he said was because the Lord was with him. When Saul he became afraid, he saw Jonathan. He intended to have David killed. Jonathan told David and said he should go into hiding. I will speak to my father and see what I can find out, said Jonathan.
Thank you, Jubril. Nabil, can you read the next slide for us?
An oath. Jonathan said to his father, "Why do you want to have David killed? He has won all those battles for you. He has made you so successful. He is innocent." So Saul looked at his son and swore an oath, saying, "As the Lord lives, David will not be killed." Jonathan returned to David and told him what the king had said, and reassured him that he would be safe.
Thank you so much, Nabil. Your session was very clear. Okay, Ayomide, can you take the next one for us? Can Ayomide hear me? David Okotiebo, take it for us. David.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read
Saul's
this
dangerous jealousy.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Saul's dangerous jealousy. Another battle broke out, and David was victorious with Saul's army once more. Saul was jealous again, and while David played his harp, Saul tried to attack him. David fled. He found Jonathan and, in bewilderment, said, "Why is your father trying to kill me? What have I done wrong?" Jonathan said, "My father said he wouldn't do that. He will tell me if he has planned to do that. But he knows we are friends, Jonathan. said David earnestly. He's not going to warn you if he plans to kill me. Listen, I will hide in a field. If your father asks where I am, tell him I have gone away. If he gets angry, you will know he planned to kill me.
Thank you very much, David. Adewamiwa, can you read the
Good
next
morning,
slide for us? Good morning. Adewamiwa, can you read the next slide? Adewamiwa, unmute your mic and read the next slide, please. Okay, I can't get Adewamiwa.
Ma, maybe I'll be allowed to use the toilet.
Yes,
Ma,
please. Yes, please. Alimat, can you read this slide for us?
Jonathan had a plan. If I see that my father does plan to kill you, I'll let you know. The two friends swore an oath to one another. Jonathan said that after speaking to his father, he would shoot some arrows near where David was hiding. If he sent a servant to collect the arrows beyond where David was hiding, David would know that was a sign that he was still in danger. Jonathan returned to the palace. When Saul asked where David was, and Jonathan replied that he had left for a short while, Saul became very angry. He realized his father did want David killed.
Thank you, Alimat. Thank you for
alright,
that reading.
come and cover that.
Who is that person? Who is calling Ore in my class? Neymar. Neymar, please read.
I think Naima is in the toilet.
No, I can see Neymar on my screen. Neymar, your mic is muted.
Yes, ma.
Okay.
The two friends. Jonathan ran to the field where David was hiding and shot some arrows beyond him. Jonathan sent the servant to collect the arrows and then sent him back to town. David, you were right. My father does want you dead. The two friends wept together and hugged. They knew they had to go their separate ways for David to be safe. Jonathan said, "Go in peace. We shall always be friends. We have sworn an oath of friendship before the Lord."
Thank you, Neymar. Ademide, have you read?
Ma,
Have you read Ademide? Victor, can you read the next one for us? Oh, it has ended. Wow. All right. Victor,
Yes, ma.
so can you give us,
Yes, ma.
can you list the 4 things Jonathan gave to David to show their friendship?
He gave him a sword,
Uh,
a bow and arrow,
uh-huh.
a coat,
A robe. Okay. Okay.
a robe, and I don't know the last one.
That's fine. Sumisola,
I know it.
who is talking? Who said that? Who said I know it?
Nabil.
Who? Nabil. Okay, Nabil,
Yes,
can you
ma'am.
answer that for us? Thank you.
My whole belt, bow, and arrow.
Thank you very much, Nabil. Thank you so much. Where did I say David was from? David was from a village called what? Please raise up your hands if you know the answer. David was from a village called what? Anika. Huh? Anika, what did you say?
Ma.
I can't hear what Anika is saying.
Ma.
That should be Jubril shouting ma, ma, ma. I always know when Jubril is shouting ma. Okay, Jubril, where was David from?
Bethlehem.
Thank you. David was from a town called Bethlehem. Who can give me two differences between Jonathan and David? Two differences between Jonathan and David. I'm going to show you the screen again so that you know what you're saying. You can tell me the two differences between David and Jonathan. Yes, Ariolua, thank you.
Jonathan was a prince while David was the shepherd.
Yes, 1 point. Can I have another one from you? Okay, let's go to Tofumi. Thank you, Ariolua. Tofumi, can you give me another point?
Jonathan was the firstborn, while David was the eighth-born.
That's a good one. Thank you very much, Tofumi. Does anyone have any other difference to add? Yes, Jubril.
Ma, Jonathan had an armor while David had a slingshot and a stone.
Good, a sling and a stone, just like what Ayomide told us. Thank you so much, Jubril. Does anybody have any other difference? Yes, Anika.
Ma.
Jonathan was the son of Saul, while David was the son of Jesse.
Yes, Jonathan was the son of King Saul, while David was the son of a poor shepherd. Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, okay, does anybody have any other extra thing to add? Yes, that if I can see your hands up.
Madam first.
Yes, you can speak.
Jonathan was from the tribe of Benjamin. Jonathan was from the tribe of Benjamin, while David was from the tribe of Judea.
Yes, that's an amazing one. Thank you. That
From
means
the
we
tribe
all
of
know the
Judea.
background. Yes, Jonathan was from the tribe of Benjamin, and then the other was from the tribe of Judah. Thank you so much. So, why did David have to play a harp for Saul? Why did David have to play his harp for Saul? I told you that Saul was
Mom.
a lot of emotional pressure, but what was the basic reason that had David playing his harp for Saul? Oriolua.
Because it was only David's harp that could make the king happy again.
Yes, Saul was having anger issues. He had the demon of sadness always. So playing the harp always made him feel better. That's correct. Thank you very much. Now, why do you think Saul was jealous of David? Why do you think King Saul was jealous of David? Why do you think Olushola Afolabi?
Saul was jealous of David because David was getting attention because he killed Goliath.
Exactly. I told you that the women in Jerusalem were always singing, Saul had killed his 1,000 and David had killed his 10,000. So it was a very, very angry spot for Saul. He didn't like it at all that they were all praising David for killing Goliath. But then there was another reason why Saul didn't like David. There was also another reason why Saul didn't like David. Think about that and I'll choose someone to answer. There was another reason why David, Ademide.
David was moving higher in the ranks of the army, and Saul became jealous.
Yes, he was. He was moving high in the ranks of the army and Saul became jealous. And then there was something else too that had to do with David's friend. Yes, David, I can see your hands up. David Okotie, but you can answer.
Ma.
Yes, David, I can see your hands up. Answer. David's network is bad. Yes, Jubril Idowu.
The prophet said that David will be the next king.
Yes, Samuel, not
Now,
Jonathan.
because
Prophet Samuel.
people were starting to think of them as equally ranked warriors.
Okay, so let me start with Jubril's answer. Jubril said Prophet Samuel had said David will be the next king of Israel. That is correct, very correct. You know, I told you Jonathan was next in line to the throne. So Prophet Samuel coming to tell King Saul that your son is not going to be king, but the shepherd boy, it caused him to be very, very annoyed and angry. And then like David also added, David and I'm talking of David Okotiebo, he added that David and Jonathan, people were now seeing them as equals because they were friends. And they were also seeing David as an equal to King Saul, even more than King Saul, because David was killing more men in battle than Saul. Okay, so it was really a very, very hot spot for King Saul as a person, as a king, that people were looking at him a bit lower in ranking than David. Okay, so that is very, very correct. Now, can you tell me how David helped Jonathan even after his death? How did David help? Raise up your hands before you answer my question, dears. How did David help Jonathan after his death? Can I see your hands up? Neymar.
No.
Neymar, how did David help Jonathan after Jonathan died in battle? I can't seem to get Neymar. Okay, who can answer in Neymar's place? Just raise up your hand, I'll see you. Neymar, can you hear me now? I can't seem to get Neymar. Okay, Olushola Ajayi, do you want to try? You haven't said anything since class started.
Yes. I was not in the class when it started.
Okay. Victor.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us how David helped Jonathan after he died?
Oh, busted.
I don't think Victor. Victor, were you in class then? I think you turned up late. Okay. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. Tofumi, can you tell us how David helped Jonathan after his death?
David took care of Jonathan's son.
Thank you. He took care of Jonathan's son. Now, who can tell me the name of Jonathan's son?
David took care of Jonathan.
That's okay. Now, who can tell me the name of Jonathan's son? Just raise up your hand. Don't call me Ma. Just raise up your hand. Who can tell me the name of Jonathan's son? All these students with their videos turned off. I can't see you when you raise up your hand. And that's why it seems I'm just asking. Okay, Sumisola. Sumisola. Sumisola's line has gone off again. Oreolua. Mephibosheth. Can you spell Mephibosheth?
Mephibosheth.
Yes, thank you very, very much. Thank you. Now, I'm going to stop sharing and I'll show you your assignments. Okay? No, you're not going to write it. I'm going to send it to you. The assignment is already clickable. So once you get the assignment, what you're supposed to do is to click on the assignment and then you start typing.
Okay, ma.
So you do not need to print out the assignment. I repeat, please do not. I'm having noise from the school background. Hold on. Sorry, I muted the Vale College classroom. So what you're going to do is to just click on it and it will start typing. Do you understand me? Once you get it, just click on it. Don't print it out. You don't need to print it out. I have made it a clickable file for you so that once you press it, it will just start typing. And I'm going to share it with you now so that you will see. Hold on. Yes. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Can you see my screen now? What can you see?
All about me.
All about me. Good. Now, we are going to use this to understand friendship when you submit it. I want you all to mute your mics while I explain this right now. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to send all of this to your to the group and also to the virtual platform. You're going to fill your own name, your class. Now, house is your school house. If you're in Ruby House or in your Sapphire or Emerald or Amethyst, I want to see it here. And then you put the name of your friend. Okay, so if this is Neymar's form, Neymar, you be the first name, and then the name of your friend can be Sumisola or Anika. And then you fill it personally. You're filling your own information inside. So your Neymar, you're going to talk about your favorite thing. You talk about your favorite color. You just write it down. Your favorite food, your least favorite food. If you could go anywhere, where would you go to? I want to also know your favorite song. And then the next page, you still write your name and then write your birth month. Don't put the date, just the month, birth month. So if you're born on the 5th of May, 1985, please don't put 5th of May, 1985. Just put May, the month alone, May. Then you tell me your best subject in school. And then when you grow up, you're going to be, so Neymar, when you grow up, what do you want to be? I want to know. Then you tell me what makes you happy. Also tell me what makes you sad. Then if you could have one wish, what would it be? Who is your favorite celebrity and what is your favorite TV station? See what I said about clicking. Once you click on it, it would immediately bring out your cursor and then you start typing. So as soon as you're done typing, send it back to me. We are going to use it in the next class. We are going to use it in the next class. Please, the name of your friend must be a friend in your class. Please don't interrupt me until I'm done, okay? The name of your friend must be a student in your class, in this class. All right? So once you're done filling it, send it back to me. It must be returned to me before Saturday by 12 noon. Okay? I know some students will already start sending theirs immediately the class is over. Yes, so now I'm going to take questions. Who is asking a question? Yes.
Jubril.
Yes, Jubril, I can see.
Ma, what if you have many friends?
Please just choose. Okay, you can, if you have more than one friend, you can put 2 or 3, but please don't put more than 2 friends. We are using this to discuss friendship, and you'll see how we are going to use it in the next class.
Ma.
Yes? You know, we are talking about relationship in the school. So by the time you fill this out, there's going to be a collage of sheets, and then we'll now use it to explain deeper about relationships in the school, especially school relationship and friendship. Remember, today we talked about the friendship of David and Jonathan. All right, we are comparing good friends and bad friends. So David and Jonathan fall under good friends. The friend at midnight, which we'll be discussing briefly next week, is going to fall under bad friends. Okay, so your submission will be our instructional aid for our next class. All right, how that will happen, wait and see. Any other question? I'm going to stop sharing now. Any other question? Yes, Neymar. Yes, Neymar. No, I can't hear you, Neymar. I'm sorry, Neymar, I can't hear you. Ayomide, did you have a question?
I have another question.
Ayomide has a question. Ayomide, you know you're on mute. You muted your mic.
Ma, is it going to be on the same portal that was supposed to do that assignment?
Is it going to be on what?
The portal.
I didn't hear you, Ayomide.
Ma, is it going to be on the same portal that was supposed to do that assignment?
I'm going to send the assignment to your WhatsApp. So you just type it out on the phone and then send it to me.
Okay, ma.
Yeah. Are you going to write your best friend month or yours? Your own month, Neymar. Every information there is your information. Do you understand me, Neymar?
Ma, are we still going to do our test next week?
Yes, you are. Are you in a hurry to write test? I thought people don't like test. Why are you now fighting for test? Yes, David.
Ma, where would you like to go? Is it like a country or a place?
A place.
Is it like
it can be a place, it can be a country, anywhere you like to be.
Okay, ma.
Yes, Sumisola.
Ma, is it on the same portal we're going to see the assignment?
Once you get it, fill it and send it to me. I will get it. Send it to me through your own parents' WhatsApp. Don't put it on the group. Just send it to Mrs. Ehigiato. Tell your mommy, send this to Mrs. Ehigiato.
Is it on the WhatsApp?
Yes,
Sorry,
now on the WhatsApp. On the WhatsApp. No, please don't put it on the portal. Send it to me on the WhatsApp.
Ma, the assignment, is it going to be on the same portal?
I said, send it to me via WhatsApp, Sumisola. Please, oh, who can help me contact Sumisola and tell her what I said? Thank you. Any other question?
I don't know.
All right, I think I'm done for today. Thank you, Neymar.
What did you tell us?
Please, someone should tell Nabil what I said. My class is over. Okay, I have to leave for the next teacher to come.
Nabil.
So, goodbye, Neymar, Ademide, Shola, Adeoluwa, Olushola, Folabi, David, Ayomide, Alimat, Victor, Sumisola, Damife, Tofumi, Jubril, Olayinka, Adewamiwa, Anika, Israel, Nabil, Orioluwa, and Mustafa. I hope you have a nice day. Thank you for joining the class. Thank you for participating actively. I look forward to receiving your assignments. All right? So have a nice day, everyone. Bye.